What's going on, fam? It's your boy, Anthony O'Neill. Welcome back to The Table, where you guys know we keep it real, relevant, and relatable right here every single week. And today, I'm really pumped because something transpired in my life about a year and a half ago, and I really started doing some digging into myself. And so I have a good friend in the building with me today that I want to introduce to you all. And I really want you to get focused on today's conversation. I've never said this before on any of my shows, but today, the next 30 to 35 minutes, I want you to just cut off any distractions and dive in with me on this conversation. Because if you do, this conversation will impact your life, but impact other lives around you. I want to introduce y'all to a good friend of mine. His name is Ian Cron. He is the author of The Road Back to You, an Enneagram journey to self-discovery. And so welcome to The Table.
I'm thrilled to be here, man. Thank you.
I've listened to you on several people's podcasts. I've watched several YouTube shows about you. You've done our Devo here at Ramsey Solutions, and you've been on panels. And I'm like, yo, I like this guy. And I was like, okay, I got to bring you in at the right time. And I said, I wanted to bring you in at the top of 2021 because this year I'm challenging my family members on YouTube, podcasts, wherever they listen and join my family at, to read at least 1 to 2 books a month, and to this year really focus on becoming a better individual personally. Mm-hmm. And that requires us getting to know ourselves.
Yes. And
so I call you like the king of really getting to know yourself. And I'm going to tell you a story about myself. I never told you this before because it's our first time actually sitting down and talking. But it was about like a year and a half ago, I started hearing some complaints about me. You know, about how I handle myself and how I do things, even around my own team members. Like, I don't like how he does this. Family members, hey, you always are doing this. And then immediately I would jump into defense and start saying, well, I don't like how you do this, and I don't like how you do that. And I went home because I practice the Christianity faith, you know, and I just felt guilty that, yo, Anthony, why do you receive things this way? Why do you respond this way? Why were you even offended by that? And God was like, Anthony, like, check yourself first, man. Like, look into yourself. And so I went to therapy, started therapy about a good year and a half, 2 years ago. And she said, I think you need to take the Enneagram test. I was like, the Enneagram test? I'm like, everyone's talking about this Enneagram. I'm like, I'm sick and tired of this, man. Like, what is it? She says, well, that's a practical way of really getting to know yourself. Mm-hmm. And then she handed me your book. And I honestly, I'm going to be honest, be transparent, right here at the table, because we keep it real. It's set in my library for about a year. About a year. Yep. I didn't pick it up until earlier this year because I started noticing when I took your test, I was like, maybe this is making sense. Like, this is really making sense. And I'll never forget, someone said something about me and I didn't respond because of what I went through in counseling. And I went home and I asked myself, why do you feel the way you feel? And then I went back to the test and I started realizing why I was feeling the way I felt. I want to talk to you today about really understanding why is it important for us to understand how we're wired, how we think, and why we process, and why you really got involved with the Enneagram and wrote this book. So let's start there. Why is it important for us to really understand ourselves going throughout the rest of this year and moving forward into the future?
Yeah. So there was a study done at Cornell University a number of years ago, and they were trying to figure out why 72 CEOs of companies ranging in from say $50 million to $5 billion were as successful and as effective as they were.
Okay.
And the study actually upended what the researchers thought the answers were going to be.
Okay.
Right? The answer turned out to be, and this is a direct quote from the study, the key predictor of success among leaders is self-awareness.
Ooh.
Now, I would argue then, at least from my own experience, that the key predictor of success in life is self-awareness. In your relationships with your children, with your spouse, with your friends, with the cashier at CVS, that self-awareness, the ability to step back from who you are and observe your behavior and your feelings and begin to do what you did, which is begin to ask yourself some very important questions.
Yeah.
Why do I think, feel, and act the way that I do from moment to moment on a daily basis?
Yes.
And how can I learn to regulate and capitalize on the best features of who I am?
That's so good.
And let go of those aspects of my personality that are actually working against me. So, the Enneagram is an ancient personality typing system that teaches there are 9 basic personality types in the world, one of which we gravitate toward and adopt in childhood just as a way to cope in the world and navigate relationships.
Okay.
Very importantly, for your listeners and for you, each type has an underlying motivation, a driver, that powerfully influences how that type acts, thinks, and feels.
Wow.
Okay?
Wow.
Once you know this and the features, the characteristic features of your type, right?
Yeah.
Then you can begin to do what I said earlier, which is to say, okay, I know that my behavior is very influenced by this unconscious motivation in my type. You're a 3 on the Enneagram, the achiever performer.
I really am.
And then, you can begin to say, okay, how can I let go, relax my grip on the stuff that I didn't know was driving me all these years. But now I do.
Yes.
Now I have self-awareness.
Yes.
And so I can approach the world in a healthier way.
Hey, man, I didn't know that. I didn't know that study existed. And it's really one of the things that I love when you say that is I wish they would have interviewed Dave in that process. Because the reason why Dave Ramsey and Ramsey Solutions is so successful is because Dave really knows who he is.
Yes, he does.
He knows his strengths. He knows his weaknesses. And he knows how to move forward. And I'm like, wow. And I love how you remix it. The key ingredient to your successful life is your self-awareness.
Yes.
For those of you all watching right now, he told you earlier, I'm a 3. And so what I want to do is kind of like just break down each one of them real quick. And then let's just do a deep dive into like me. Let's just expose me.
Okay.
But I want everyone to know, okay, what are the
Spoken like
9?
a true 3, by the way. Let's go to me. Let's talk about me.
And let's talk about me. Let's expose my weaknesses, my flaws, and I'm going to be honest and transparent right here on this show. But what are the 9 in a general way? And then we'll dive into deeper so people can understand what it is to be pretty much like me.
Okay, so for those who are listening, listen to these 9 types. I'm just going to give a very brief thumbnail sketch.
Yes.
And see if you can maybe begin to get a sense of which one you might be. Okay, so ones are called the perfectionists. Okay? They're meticulous. They are detail-oriented people. They're often morally heroic people. Okay? Their unconscious motivation is a need to perfect themselves, others, and the world. Okay. I call them the improvers.
The improvers.
Yeah, they used to be called the perfectionists. But the perfectionists didn't like that. And I agree. I think their superpower is improving things. 2s are called the helpers.
Okay. Yes.
They're loving, supportive, caring, giving. Their unconscious motivation is a need to meet the needs of other people.
Wow.
In order to win love and approval.
Oh.
Okay.
3s,
you.
Yes.
You're called the performer.
That's right.
Right?
Driven.
Perform. Dude, driven.
Yes.
Focused.
Yes.
Goal-oriented.
Yes.
And the most image-conscious number on the Enneagram.
Ooh.
Okay? You have a need to succeed.
I do.
All right?
I ain't gonna lie.
You have a need to succeed, to appear successful.
Yes.
And to win at all costs, right? And to avoid failure at all costs.
The win at all costs. So we're going to talk about that later. I struggle with that word, but okay. What's number 4?
4s are called the individualists. I'm a 4 on the Enneagram. Right?
You are?
Yes, disproportionately represented in the world of creative arts.
Okay.
4s, their unconscious motivation is a need to be special and unique in order to compensate for what they perceive is a fatal flaw or a missing piece in their essential makeup.
I got you.
Okay?
I got you.
5s are called the observers. Sometimes they're called the investigators. Okay? 5s are often introverted, emotionally detached. They're the most emotionally detached number on the Enneagram. They have a powerful drive or need to hoard or gather information, knowledge, particularly around niche subjects.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
In order to compensate for what they think is an inability or that they lack the inner resources.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
To navigate the world. They feel overwhelmed by the world, and they want to conserve energy, and they often are people who are gathering this information in order to fend off feelings of inadequacy and ineptitude.
Okay.
Now, 6s are called the loyalists.
Loyalists, yes.
We think there are more 6s in the world than any other type.
For real?
Yeah, we think so. That's speculative, but we
Okay.
think so. 6s are loyal, obviously. They're supportive. They're really funny.
Yes.
Really witty.
Yeah.
They're motivated by a need for safety and security in an unpredictable and chaotic world.
Okay.
Now, 7s are called the enthusiasts. I got a son who's a 7, the Robin Williams type, okay? These are people who are fun, adventurous, spontaneous, the life of the party often.
Yes.
They're very sunny, optimistic people.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
They always see the silver lining on everything.
I love it.
Their unconscious motivation is a need to always be thinking in the future about unlimited possibilities and new adventures and escapades, right?
Yes.
In order to avoid unconscious, or not necessarily unconscious, or conscious feelings of discomfort, dis-ease, painful feelings.
Yes.
Right? They just don't want to feel the negative. They want to avoid the negative at all costs.
That's
right?
my dad.
Right. 8s.
Oh.
Dave Ramsey.
Dave.
My friend Dave Ramsey, who I've been on Dave's show a couple of times, and he is he's an 8. We call him an 8 with an 8 wing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's who Dave is, man.
Yes.
So they're aggressive.
Yeah.
Confrontational.
Yes.
They can be if they're not very self-aware, argumentative.
Yes.
Very aggressive.
Yes.
People. They have a need to assert control over people and the environment, right? In order to mask tender feelings, vulnerability.
Yes,
right? They just don't want to show that card of vulnerability.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Lastly, the 9s are called the peacemakers. My wife's a peacemaker. My daughter is a peacemaker. They're often called the sweethearts of the Enneagram.
Yeah.
Okay. They're easygoing. They're chill. They're go with the flow. Don't rock the boat people.
Yeah.
They have a need to really avoid conflict at all costs. Right? They are people who love to keep the peace. They like to maintain status quo. And, very importantly, they want to keep their inner world tranquil. You know what I'm saying? They want to have, it's like Hakuna Matata. They just want Hakuna Matata all the time
all
in
the
their
time.
inner world. They just want things to be calm and peaceful. And they don't, like I said, they're avoiding conflict at all costs.
Oh, man. And you know what? It is so funny. And I want to ask you all, if you're listening to this on the podcast or watching this on YouTube, I want you to just think about, which one are you? At the end of the show, we're going to give you a website you can go to and also a discount code. So you got to listen to the end to where you can also go take a very honest, real, in-depth test that would definitely help you out to really understand yourself. I took it, so I want you to stick around for that because, boom. But right now, what do you think you are? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ian, I'm a 3.
Yes, you are.
I'm a 3.
I could spot that when I came into the studio this morning.
For real?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, let me just say this. So every type exists on a continuum from healthy or self-aware to not self-aware at all.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
You've met people who aren't very self-aware, right?
Absolutely.
They just go banging guardrail to guardrail through people's lives and wondering, I wonder why that's happening. You know what it's like? And they're like, they keep doing the same thing over and over again, getting the same results.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Now, when you're in that place, it's like you're asleep. You're just going through life asleep.
Yep.
Now, when you're in a healthy place and you're self-aware, you're going through life wide awake.
Yes.
You're seeing, how is my personality affecting other people in this moment?
That's so good.
How do I pull back the excesses or those parts of my personality that are not healthy?
Yeah.
How can I pull those back and put my best self forward?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so remember, every type is beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yes.
When they're in that healthy, self-aware place.
Okay.
The more they go down into the average, into the not very self-aware at all space, right?
Yeah.
They're getting more and more unhealthy in their type.
What are some of the unhealthy things about 3s?
Well, when they're not self-aware.
Yes.
Okay. Threes are overly competitive.
Okay.
They can sometimes do anything at all costs in order to succeed.
Okay.
They're not very in touch with their feelings or the feelings of others.
I'm really not sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes I really don't care what I say to people.
Do you hear that? I don't care.
Yeah.
Right? It's because you're thinking about the goal line.
Exactly. It's not that I don't care about them as an individual.
Right.
I'm just thinking about, here's the end goal. Let's get there.
Right. You'll start to ignore other people's feelings.
Yes.
You'll ignore your own feelings.
Yes.
It's like, I'm just going for the goal.
Yes.
I want to cross it first.
Yes.
Right? Which means that sometimes an unhealthy three will cut corners in order to get to the goal line. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's so good.
So what they'll do is they'll just run people over, ignoring the needs and feelings of others in order to cross that goal line first, right?
And I'm guilty of that.
Yeah. You're very goal-oriented people.
Yes.
You're very focused on tasks.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Well, of course, sometimes you have to ask yourself, because you tend to be workaholics. You've got to start asking yourself, what price am I paying in order, in terms of relationships with my wife, with my kids, with myself? What price am I paying in those areas of my life in order to succeed?
I leaned back in my chair when you started laughing because I'm single. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the main reasons why I got to stop saying I think because my therapist calls it out all the time. Well, Anthony, you don't think you know. One of the main reasons why I'm still single is because I'm a workaholic. And although I desire to be married, my end goal is to be at this place of my career by this time. Mm-hmm. So when I go home, I have no problem telling my family and friends and my dating life, no, so I can focus on getting to where I want to go to.
Right. And there's a price for that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's called loneliness.
Yes.
Or, you get too far down the road and I've met many, many threes at 35 or 40 who are like, man, I have paid a price here.
Absolutely.
In order to reach where I have
Yeah.
in my world of success.
Yeah.
Right? I would also say that one of the characteristic features of threes is you have an ability to swap masks. You have a chameleon ability.
Oh, yeah.
Right? In order to win the approval or to meet the expectations of the crowd.
Yeah.
That you're with or in front of, right? So when you're not very self-aware, you're always kind of like changing. You'll go from one room to the next, and you're able to kind of go, okay, what's going on in here? Who do I have to become? Now, the problem with that is you eventually, when you keep swapping out, you just don't know who you are anymore. Because you are whoever you're with.
This is like so good right now. And I'm saying this because it's my show.
This is your field, right? This is my field.
Because Ian, to be transparent, and I could be real with you because you talk through this with people, and it's so weird that you say that. I can switch masks because I can switch them very, very, very quickly. One day I could be speaking to a very conservative crowd,
right?
Then I could be speaking to a very liberal crowd,
right?
I could be speaking to an all-white conservative crowd, to an all-black in the hood crowd.
Right.
I could be speaking to teenagers, to adults. And then I remember about one month, I was like, who am I? Mm-hmm. Because I didn't recognize some of the faces and some of the personalities that I've had to become to not entertain, but to become so they can hear my message.
Right. So it's interesting. Every type has what we call a deadly sin. Mm-hmm. Okay, and it's based on the 7 deadly sins, but we added 2 on.
Yeah.
And every type has a virtue that they want to work toward.
Yes.
So for the 3, it's your deadly sin is deceit. Now, sometimes a 3 will deceive other people by playing the game, right? But more often than not, it's self-deceit.
Okay.
Right? You start to forget your authentic self.
Yes.
And you start, because you're wearing so many masks all the time, you're like, well, which of these am I? So you have a bit of an identity crisis going on.
Yes.
Now, the virtue then you want to work toward in your life is authenticity.
Yes.
Being yourself, true to who you are in the moment, and not be switching masks and putting the game on. Now, listen, there's nothing wrong with being adaptable.
Absolutely.
Okay?
I agree.
It can be a great gift.
Yeah.
As long as you're like, okay, but I know who I am, and I'm living out of that space. And, when in Rome, I'm doing what the Romans do, but I'm not doing it in a way that's deceitful and in a way that's not, true to who I am.
Ian, you can come on my show anytime, man. You mad cool, bro. Okay, man, listen. No, because me and my brand leader were just talking about that. Like, I've been on a journey of like, okay, I have to really get back to who I truly am. Mm-hmm. But one of the things my father taught me was how to adapt, adjust, and to overcome. So adapting to my environment and adjusting to it, because you can't walk into certain environments just any old kind of way.
Right.
You have to adapt to be respectful and so that they can receive you well.
Right.
But how do you adapt and you're still Anthony Bernard O'Neill?
Yes.
That's been the thing I've really been focusing on, and your book and really understanding the Enneagram for myself, but then also understanding it for other people has helped me to adapt and still be me.
Right.
And so they're hearing us on this show today. They're like, okay, what do I need to do? I really want to really get to know myself. Me and my husband were arguing. Me and my wife were arguing. I don't understand my coworkers. I feel like just... should they take the test first? Should they get your book first? Should they, what's the first actionable step they can start doing today, right now, to start this journey?
Start with my book,
Okay.
The Road Back to You, An Enneagram Journey to Self-Discovery. There it is.
Boom, right here. If you're
That's
listening
right.
to it on the podcast, I got it in my hand right now. This book will bless you. They can go to Amazon.
Yeah, they can go anywhere. They can go to booksellers or Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever they buy their books.
Okay.
So start there.
Okay. Now, why here, though? Why with the book?
Well, because the first step in the journey is I got to identify my type. Okay? And so that's really going to help you. And it's a fun read.
It is.
It's very narrative. It's story-based.
Yeah.
It's not a technical therapy book.
Yeah.
Right? So we got to get your core type down first.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Then you could take the test.
Okay.
Just to verify what you know.
Okay.
You may find, well, actually, I would encourage you to take the test because there's so much information in there
So much
about
there.
the type.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And then I would encourage people to listen to my podcast, Typology, Typology.
Okay.
Because on that show, I interview different types.
Do you?
And I get them to share what it is like to be their personality style.
Oh, man.
Right? And I begin to tease out things about their experience of the world, right? Because it's so much more powerful. Like, for example, if you were on my show, I would be asking you questions like, well, what's it like to be a 3? Tell me about a story about a 3. You know what I'm saying? And you're going to do a much better job of describing the life of a 3 than I can.
Yes.
Because you're going to be talking out of your personal experience.
Oh, yeah, man. See, listen, I can talk about that right now on my show. I'm just going to be real.
Well, let's do 2 parts.
I can do, but I would be real. Okay, cool. So for those of y'all listening right now, we're going to drop the link to his book in the description. So check that out. We'll have an Amazon link. And then also, Ian is just like myself. If you are a big fan of the local bookstore, hey, love it. If you're willing to wait a little bit, we love supporting our local small businesses. So check that out there as well. But if you're like, hey, I'm ready to get this journey, start it. Go to Amazon, get that book. It will bless you. So let's talk about this test.
Yes.
Because I took the test. And man, it's 24 pages long. And I'm going to be honest with you, it took me about 3 days to really read through all of it because I was really trying to understand all of it. Mm-hmm. One thing I like about yours, which, I know my tribe is like, well, Anthony, this costs money. You're telling us to be cautious. There are some free versions out there, you guys, but I love this test so much that I think if you spent the money on this, it's a good investment, even if you are paying off debt, because it will really help you become a better person to even make more money, be more productive at work, to go after your business, to stay focused on your debt-free journey.
Yeah, and in fact, Rachel Cruz and I have done any number of events and podcasts and shows together.
Absolutely.
And, we've talked a lot about the spending styles, the relationship, the unique relationship that each type has with money.
Okay, I'm going to give you one. What was number 9? They are number 9 Enneagram, the very sweet people.
Yes.
What's their relationship with money?
Well, the challenge that 9s have is they can be disorganized and distractible.
That's definitely... Wait, what's Rachel? Is she a...
No, she's a 3.
She's a 3?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know Rachel's a 3, but with money? What's our relationship with money? Threes.
Well, threes, because they're very image conscious.
Yeah.
And they want to appear successful. Can sometimes, when they're not self-aware.
Yeah.
Right. Be spenders on things that will signal success to other people. So you might spend too much money on a car or on clothes or, you know what I'm saying? Or on a watch or on shoes.
Why is he calling me out? Why is he looking at me and calling me out on my show?
Right. But, when you
man.
get self-aware, right, you'll be able to say to yourself, okay, I would love to buy this car because what it would say about me to other people, right? About my success in the world. But I can't, right? I have to wait. Now, there may be a day down the road when I don't have any debt, when I'm, in a great place financially, where I can afford to buy a car that I really enjoy, right? And that I'm not using
to have the image.
Right.
So
it's just because me, Ian Cron, really loves this car because I really enjoy nice things.
So, Ian, never told this to anyone on my show.
Bring it.
I've never told this to anyone, period. I was about to purchase a Bentley Continental. And the Bentley Continental wasn't going to be the cost of what everyone thought it would have cost. But I had to step back and ask myself, why am I buying this car? And I answered the question in an unhealthy way because it would make me look bigger than what I am.
Right.
While I could afford it per se, pay for it cash, I wasn't buying it because I wanted it.
Right.
I was buying it because when you say you're driving a Bentley, that comes with the statement.
Right.
And so I didn't purchase it.
Good man.
I spent the same money that I would spend on a Bentley on a car that I actually wanted.
Right.
And that I enjoy. And so just hearing you say that, it's just confirmation, and I appreciate you saying that. And I really want my listeners and viewers to really hear what he's saying. Like, hey, when we are aware of certain things and certain decisions that we will make and we could make, it really helps us make the best decision.
Right. So you're questioning your motivations.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so once you know the unconscious motivation of your type, right?
Yeah.
You can begin to ask yourself, now, am I doing this for the wrong reasons?
Man, listen.
Right?
Listen.
And am I acting this way? Or am I feeling this way? Am I thinking this way?
Yes.
Because I'm living out of touch with who I am and what it is that's driving me.
Oh, man. That's so good, man. Ian, you good. So let's get back to this test. Why should they go to your website? Because there's a lot of free ones out there.
Yes.
And then you have yours at iancron.com, and we'll drop that link in the description. Yours, you have two versions, a $60 version and a $120 version, $120 version. That's the Pro. I took the Pro. For those of you all listening right now, especially if you're in debt, I don't want you to spend $120, but I am a huge fan of you spending $60. But we even have a special announcement that we'll announce here in a little bit of how you can get that even a little bit cheaper. But what's the difference between your test and the other free tests?
So, the problem with psychological tests is if they're not constructed correctly by research psychologists, right? It's people who really know.
Yeah.
You're going to get, there's a high probability you're going to get an inaccurate result, and they're going to get typed inaccurately. Yes. And then they may say, that doesn't sound like me at all, right? Or they'll walk around saying, oh, that is me, when actually it isn't. Right. We want you to get an accurate result. So this test has a high, what we call validity or reliability rate. Okay? So, and the descriptions in it, all the different angles it tells you about are fantastic. You're not going to get that from an inexpensive test or a free test, right?
No.
And I would say that this is particularly great if you're in the work world.
Yes.
Right? It's going to help you in every atmosphere, every part of your life, right? But it's particularly good if you're trying to understand who you are in terms of your work life and, having your life. And I would say, too, in terms of your relationship to money, it's really going to help you.
Absolutely. Your test, it goes back to what you said earlier. It said the Enneagram 3 has the following weaknesses and challenges. Here's the very first one. You may be showing up in the world in a way that makes you seem self-promoting.
Yes.
I'm like, hey, I do that.
Self-marketing.
Yes, I do that Whole lot. You focus on your goals and rarely on the details.
Yes.
That is so true.
Yes. Threes do not like details.
I don't.
They're tell and sell. They're tell and sell people.
I don't. I was meeting with our team this morning and we're going through a transition phase. And I was like, hey, I want this. They was like, well, we get it, but you're going to have to go through this, that, and this. And I'm like, but do you understand? I've been waiting 2 years for this.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're sound asleep.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
you're sound asleep.
Like, what in the world? Like,
well, you want it now.
Yeah. I'm like, I've been waiting. What? So it's like, I get it. But at the same time, though, let's be honest here. What threes are still needed in the world, although we don't see the details.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
They're still
healthy
positive.
Threes are remember this, every type, when it's healthy and self-aware, is beautiful.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And so they were just enumerating your challenges.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And I would say, too, by the way, for example, ones love details.
They sure
right?
do.
So you want to, so when you know all 9 types, not just your type.
Yeah.
This is very important. I want people to know all 9 types.
Yes.
Because, like, for example, I'm a 4.
Okay.
My wife's a 9.
Okay.
We're driven by different things.
Yes.
Before we knew the Enneagram, we had so many conflicts because our worldview was completely different. And we didn't know why. I would be like, why aren't you more like me? And she's thinking, why can't you be more like me?
Right.
It's like, well, until we knew how different we were, we would have all kinds of friction in the relationship. But now that we do know, I can't tell you how it's improved my marriage. I can't tell you, knowing my children's types, how much it's improved my parenting. I can't tell you in my work life. Like if I'm working with a 1, right? I'm thinking to myself, let's say I'm you, right?
Okay.
I'm a 3 and I'm working with a 1. Okay. So you would rely on them to be the detail-oriented people.
Yes.
You wouldn't be thinking to yourself, oh gosh, they're so persnickety. They want everything clear. You know, you would be thinking, okay, they think differently and they see the world differently than I do, and I need them.
Yes.
I need their gifts, right? Like, for example, engineer, what's your type?
You're a 7.
You're a 7. Okay. Now, you guys have some similarities in that you're both aggressive personality types. Now, aggressive isn't a bad thing. Think of it more like assertive. Okay? You see what you want and you go get it. I'm a 4. I don't do that.
Right. Okay.
I approach the world differently.
You do.
Okay? Now, what might drive you crazy about him, right, is he's distractible.
Is he?
Yeah, he can he can be somebody that's kind of sometimes is the life of the party, and you're like maybe just a little bit not serious enough about goals and tasks, right? Now, he may be able to do that here, but you have to burn more calories to do it than you do.
Oh, no, not me. Okay, well, Heidi, my publicist, what are you? You're a 7 too?
Oh, with an 8 wings. So that's actually a fairly reckless personality style type. So yeah.
We're laughing at Heidi.
Oh, yeah. So with the 7, right, you might be like, why can't this person stay on task? I need them to be more focused and see a job all the way through to the end, right, and get it nailed. You'll have very little patience with that personality style sometimes. Now, when those guys are healthy, they're fantastic.
Oh, yeah. She's a beast.
Right? They're fantastic.
She's definitely a beast.
But you're going to want to drive. You have a lot of forward momentum.
What will she have a problem with me? What would a 7 have a problem with a 3?
Just the precise opposite. They might think, right, like, wow, that guy's awfully focused. Where's the fun? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the fun factor here? Where's the adventure factor here?
Her fun factor is I won't call her out on the show, but sometimes she'd be like, Anthony. I won't call her out on the show, though. I won't do her like that on the show. But
do you see, when you understand their personality styles, how much better you will work as a team?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
What's your type? A 7. We got to get out of here, man.
I'm serious,
because I'm just telling you.
Alex, what are you? He's a 3.
Okay, you're a 3?
Yeah.
Wow.
And your wife's a 9.
She's a 9. Did you see her in the background there? She's just hanging out.
She's just
being chill.
She's just chilling.
Right?
3, 7. I would not have thought my publicist was a 7, though.
Really?
Yeah, because she's very detailed. She's very detailed, though.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm like, I thought she would be a 1 because she's very, very detailed when it comes to the to pretty much me and making sure I'm on my talking points and stuff.
Right. So 7s on the Enneagram. We haven't had a chance to talk about stress and security. I don't know if we will.
Yeah.
Now there's a line on the Enneagram diagram that connects the 7 to the 1.
Oh, so
now
yes.
So when they're not doing great, typically they in stress they go to 1. Ooh. But that doesn't mean they can't go to the high side of 1 and exercise some of those gifts, right? If they're self-aware. So they can turn it on.
When she's stressed with me, she goes straight up to that 1. Yep. It's like, you didn't do this, that. I'm like, oh, Lord, okay. Yeah. So I get it now. Now that's so good for me to understand that. So that lets me know that, I've caused her to hit her stress button because I missed something. So she's not necessarily upset at me, but that's how she's responding.
Right.
And so now I can better understand my publicist. And then also I know what I need to do moving forward to bring a healthy version.
But do you understand that for your publicist, you want somebody who's that detail-oriented?
Absolutely.
And you need somebody to go, okay, we're doing this, and that in this order.
Yeah.
And it may take longer than you want to do it. And you know what else she's going to say is, you can't cut corners.
Oh, yes.
You can't cut corners.
She need to stop looking at me. I don't know why she's in here today.
I can go on and on.
We go on and on, but we don't have enough time to go on and on. We got to bring you back on for another show. But for those of you all listening, man, there's so much to this Enneagram that we cannot cover in 35 minutes for a podcast and for a YouTube show for those of you all viewing. So I want to highly encourage you to go listen to Ian Cron's podcast. What's the name of it again?
Typology. Typology.
There you go. Check it out because he dives in deep. And then also, only for our tribe, Ian Cron is giving us 20% off the test. So
I never give 20% off. I always give 10 or 15. So your crowd is, I'm loving here today.
Listen, I'm loving you for loving us. So we're going to put that information in the description as well. You go to iancron.com. You have 2 tests, $60 and $120. The $120 a pro version. I'm going to say it right here on the show. If you are still in debt, just do the $60. If you do 20% off, it comes up to $48. This test will be amazing. If you're out of debt and you got a fully funded emergency fund, y'all, do the 120 version. Really invest into yourself. And yes, I'm telling you to spend $48 on yourself so that way you can better understand yourself when it comes to your money, like he said, when it comes to your relationships. And as a matter of fact, I also want to put in the description the link to his and Rachel's conversation so our tribe can understand how they think when it comes to money. Okay, so we're going to do that as well. So maybe we're going to have a lot of stuff because I really want to help you have a strong year. So we're going to link his book. We're going to link the test. We're going to link his podcast. And we're also going to link the video with him and Rachel so you can even understand how you react and respond to money. And, I mean, we can keep going, man.
We could.
We really could. You know, you're a very chill, wise guy. And I'm like, man, this guy is reading me. And he's reading all of us in this building. I'm like, what in the world? But I'm so grateful for you for coming. And thank you so much for giving our audience a discount. The discount code is THETABLE. That's right. It is THETABLE. So type that in. All caps. THETABLE, and all the information will be below. 20% off. Let's have a phenomenal year. This is the book we are all reading in February, The Road Back to You, an Enneagram Journey to Self-Discovery. I've already read it, but I'm going to reread it with you all, and we're going to talk about it throughout the month of February. All right, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. It's your boy, Anthony Neal with Ian Cron. We'll see you on the next show.